Welcome to the Chad G Ortho OT Podcast. I'm your host, Chad Guerrero. I'm an orthopedic occupational therapist, strength and conditioning coach, sports trainer, and I hold over 40 specialty certifications in manual therapy, orthopedics, and sports medicine. On this podcast, we will discuss everything orthopedic therapy, sports medicine, and more. If you're a therapist, health and fitness professional, or someone just wanting to learn more about the orthopedic and sports medicine world, then this is a podcast for you. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to the episode of the Chad G Ortho OT Podcast. I'm your host, Chad Guerrero. On today's episode, we're going to talk about some shoes, a little footwear, on a poll that I did on my Facebook page, my Guerrero Rehab Facebook page. And then also, I'm going to tell you about some recent shenanigans in my life, which I really feel like sometimes I should change the name of this thing instead of like orthopedics and sports med, et cetera, to just Chad's shenanigans, just like my day-to-day stuff, because I always have the craziest things happen to me. And people will be like, man, are you making that up? Like, no, this really happened. So anyway, fun fact or an interesting thing that happened, I guess, which it would still be a fact that it happened. But we did we're doing a pumpkin contest here at work. And so it's just decorating pumpkin. And, the patients come in, they vote on it, and they put their name on the piece of paper. And then tomorrow, on the 31st, we're going to draw a patient winner, maybe two winners, I don't know, in the drawing. And then we'll also, whichever staff member's pumpkin wins, they may do something for them. I don't really know. But one of the pumpkins was spray painted. And apparently, if you spray paint a pumpkin, and I don't know if it's paint specific, a certain kind of paint or what, but if the pumpkin starts to decay or break down the inside or releases gas, then you could have a slight explosion, which happened. So I'm on vacation, and one of our staff calls me and says, hey, guess what? I'm like, what? The pumpkin exploded. One of the pumpkins exploded, the back of it, and just blew pumpkin guts all over the wall, and had just a tremendous smell. So they had to clean that up, and I'm actually going to have to repaint that spot on my wall from where the pumpkin blew up. So that was interesting. Didn't know that could happen. The other thing is recently took over my daughter's 7 and 8 year old travel softball team. Never coached softball before. My son, we played travel baseball and summer league baseball and all that kind of stuff, and I coached him from the time he was really little until he got to high school. And so this is going to be a new experience there. I just kind of got into this position a little bit. I just kind of volunteered. And the previous coach, has kind of transitioned some different things. And so anyway, so that also is new, something that I'm doing currently. And then my house got toilet paper last night, got rolled last night. So that which I really can appreciate. I think it's actually very funny. I walked outside with my big golden doodle to go to the bathroom, and I walked out and I just cracked up laughing. I'm like, man, they really got my yard with the paper. And of course, a few years ago during COVID, when toilet paper was scarce, hey, I probably had to defend my yard, honestly. But now, of course, I can't get people to come pick it up, which I should maybe, it's actually raining here today. So it was just regular toilet paper beforehand. Now, if you want to come get this out of my yard, I made a post on Facebook. I was like, it's going to be like wet wipes now. So anyway, so that's happening, and which was really funny because I know the kids that are doing it, and I appreciate just good, clean fun, no pun intended on that. So anyway, and then what else is going on? I feel like there's some more things. So, well, my truck, I have my truck it's an F-250, and it's got like these power running boards that come out when you open the door, whether to get in or get out. And so I had some battery issues the other day. It has 2 batteries on it, and there were bad cells on both the batteries. And I got to work, and I went to get out of my truck. And so for 2-3 years, every time I get out of my truck, this little step bar is there. And went to get out of my truck and step on the step bar. I had my hands full of stuff, and it wasn't there. And I almost hit the ground, just face planted with all the stuff in my hands because I expected it to be there and it wasn't there. So that's going on. I got that fixed, and which I took it to the dealership because it had some recalls. I had to get fixed on it, or whatever. And I was like, yeah, just it needs, all my fluids changed out and all this kind of stuff. And it was kind of funny because like at first, like with the person I'm talking to, were not like super formal, right? But just kind of formal and a customer and whatever. And then the more times that she had to call me with just different things that I was needing to change or whatever, it goes down just like, yo, look, this is what we need to do now, So that was kind of interesting. That was 2 days of them having my vehicle. So this is the greatest part. And my wife doesn't listen to my podcast, so I can tell this. So I rode to school in the back of our SUV and to take our kids to school. And I'm in the back seat. And when we left my driveway, I felt like that I was strapping in to like the space shuttle. I mean, because we were late and we have to go all the way across town and go to one school, then we have to go to the high school. Anyway, and it was hilarious. I'm pretty sure that the pavement in front of my house that they just put down because they just fixed the road is probably messed up for my wife pulling out of my driveway. It was just, I was holding on for dear life. So got to work and actually took a Zofran. So, I was like, good Lord, what's happening? Of course, she tells it a different way, and it was not that way at all. But I just felt like it was a little dangerous for me. I don't know. And maybe it wasn't that bad, but I'm not a very good, no pun intended, backseat driver or backseat passenger, whatever. So anyway, going to the shoes, which is what this episode was about. Everybody has like different shoes that they like, their own preference. And you're going to have some people that, they are hardcore on one particular brand or, style, model, whatever. And I like different shoes. And my favorite shoe really is the Hoka, Hoka, brand shoe. I like that one because I have a heel spur and I had plantar fasciitis pretty severe, and doing some therapy on it, and then changing my shoes up made a big difference. I don't have any issues now. And my sister's a nurse practitioner, and she likes the Hokas. My mom's an RN; she's on her feet all the time, and she has so many pair of Hokas. It's kind of crazy. Like you walk in her house and where all her shoes are, and it's like, man, this is pretty sure it looks like a shoe store, honestly. And so she loves the Hokas. And I had 148 votes on this. And the Hokas actually come out number one. And a guy that runs marathons or ultra marathons commented. He said the Hoka Bondi or the Hoka Clifton was his favorite ones to use. And you can get those in a wide. So Hoka does make a wide. And I have a wide too. So that, wide foot. So I get the wides. Next was the On Clouds. I like On Cloud as well. My wife loves On Clouds. A lot of patients that wear On Clouds. I like the look of On Clouds. And then it was Brooks, Nike, Other, and in the Other, some of the comments were just different brands of shoes, some I've never heard of, and then Skechers, and then Under Armour. So that was kind of the sequence or the order of how that went. Hoka and On Cloud by far were ahead of all the others. Like I said, what you can do is, I don't think it's Fleet Feet has like the 3D mapping, or maybe a podiatry office would have that, or a therapy clinic maybe that they specialize in something with the feet or gait mechanics or something like that. It really, there's been some research on that. That's the closest you can get to really kind of mapping the foot to see what you need, what's going to work the best. Because definitely one brand of shoe is not the be all for everybody, right? Like we all have different structures. We all walk a little different. So, you have to find out what works for you, and also be careful, cautious of going to some of these places that, you need this shoe, and maybe that's the shoe you need. And then you end up with like $150 worth of inserts and insoles and, all these other things. I don't know if it's necessary or not. Probably not, but, so just kind of be cautious of that before you're like $300 in on a pair of shoes with all the extra stuff. Try the shoes first and see how that works, and then go from there. I'm not saying that insoles and heel lifts and all these different things don't work. Sure, that's very person specific. So if you definitely not like well, so-and-so went here, and my mom went here, and my cousin went here, and everybody needs this particular insert or whatever, I'd be real cautious of that. I mean, a little leery because obviously nobody's the same. And even like I've had patients come in and say, well, I went to this place and they tell me, when I walk, I out toe or I point my toes outwards or I in toe a little bit, or I'm walking more toe strike instead of hitting my heel first and heel striking and all these different things. Look, we all have different structure to some extent. We're not symmetrical. Both sides aren't exactly the same. If you look at someone's face, I mean, their nose is not exactly perfect. I mean, there might be some, but for the most part, we're very asymmetrical creatures, right? Like nothing exactly matches. Even our joint ranges of motion and things don't exactly match always. And so, when people, just how you walk, you have to be careful of different professionals or just lay people, whoever, try to correct how you walk, and you got to correct some of these things. And it may be warranted, or it may just be, if you're looking at research on that, it doesn't really matter, I'm just speaking, just paraphrasing, just generally speaking. I'm not saying all of it doesn't matter. I'm just saying maybe, there are a lot of things like that. It's like you really get down to it and determine, is this shoe or does this shoe, there's a research behind this shoe. Does it really matter? Maybe not. I think the American Council on Exercise, and I don't remember when this was, it was a year or two ago, and it could have been a little longer, but put out a research study on the Hoka to see if the Hoka was like the be-all shoe for everyone, and it wasn't. And I know I'm sitting here talking up the Hokas and how much I love them, and I know a lot of people that love them, but again, if we're going research here, you're not saying it's not a great shoe, but it wasn't like the dominating shoe that every single person needs, right? Like this is the fix for every person. Definitely not. There's not, if you ever, any product or any technique of one size fits all is a cure-all, it's probably not yet, right? Like a big pet peeve that I have, and I'm double certified in dry needling, is some clinicians are like, we're going to dry needle you. We're going to stick so many pins in you. You're going to look like you've a pin cushion. And that's going to cure your plantar fasciitis and your knee pain and it's going to mow your yard and pay off your mortgage. And I mean, no, it's not. It's not the be all. Just like electric stim or any other modality is not the be all. There's not one particular exercise or movement that this is the one you must do. Just the same thing in shoes. It's not one shoe is the only shoe that you should use, right? So, just something to think about, with that. And also, a lot of people, and I've had a lot of patients over the years that like cowboy boots, or like a work boot type boot, and like a slip-on for a lot of people. And I don't have any research. I've not even looked that up to see if there was a thing for that. Maybe I should, but I've had a lot of people say they really like that, and they've had foot trouble or ankle trouble, and they went to wearing boots, and it went away. Or people that wear boots, maybe I don't ever have any trouble with that. I don't ever have foot or ankle problems. So maybe that's the route to go too. So. Just something to think about. I, for one, am about to buy, my wife doesn't know it, but I'm going to buy a remake pair of the Reebok Pump high tops. So those have come back. I had a pair of those back in, I think it was in 4th grade, and saved up my birthday money. I had like $120 maybe, and birthday and mowing. Also, I just got paid for mowing my grandpa's yard, but and went to the mall, because prior to that, a lot of times my shoes were, it was like the Payless shoes. I don't even know if Payless is still a store or not, but we had to get shoes from there. And and this may have been my first pair of mall shoes. I don't know that for sure. Foot Locker, Foot Action, or something like that. The high top shoes with a basketball on the tongue, and you just push the button, you pump those things up, and it airs up like the little air bladder thing around your ankle, and you instantly are like, man, I'm pretty sure I can jump higher and run faster. So I've seen those while on vacation this past summer at a store, and I almost bought them then. I was like, I don't know. And then I thought about it, and I've seen them again since then. I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy those. So I am going to order a pair. And I'll let everyone know at 43 years old, which I'll be 43 in a few days. If at 43 years old I'm able to jump higher and run faster and all those types of things. So, or if you look on any of my social media and you see me in a cast of some sort, you'll know that it didn't work out for me, and obviously that was all a placebo. So that's coming up. I'm also pretty excited. I'm teaching a course at a college about 30 miles from here. It's a therapy, not therapy college, but they have therapy programs there, OT and PT programs there. And so I'm teaching a cervical spine and thoracic spine course, not this weekend, next weekend. I think it's the 14th or 10th. No, I don't know. Anyway, it's a couple of weeks away. So I'm doing that. So that's pretty exciting to be able to do that with our state organization. So I'm pretty pumped about that because I love to teach and I love to talk. So unfortunately for them, I'm excited about it. So, but I'll set a time limit. That way I'll just keep rambling on. But anyway, so that's it, guys. Based off of my little poll that I did, it looks like the Hoka, Bondi, or Clifton was everyone's favorite brand of shoe and, style or model or whatever. And right behind that was On Cloud and then Brooks, and then everything else kind of fell off from there. So not saying there aren't other great shoes, and you got to find the one that works for you. And if you can have that 3D mapping done, and I think at Fleet Feet, I'm not marketing for them necessarily. I'm just, if there's another place that does it, use wherever you got to go. But I think it may be free, to have that done. So I definitely want to have it done. It wouldn't hurt anything, and then kind of see where you are. So anyway, thanks so much for listening, guys. If you would, please rate me 5 stars wherever you listen to this podcast, and make sure that you head over to my Facebook page, Chad G. Ortho OT, or my Guerrero Rehabilitation page. That's a mouthful to say. Chad G. Ortho OT. I'm on TikTok, and also the same username on Instagram, and I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm trying to think where all else. YouTube, same thing. So just punch that in, Chad G. Ortho OT. Thanks so much for listening, guys. You have an awesome day. This podcast is brought to you by Guerrero Rehabilitation, setting the bar for rehabilitative and sports medicine care.